symptoms on December 7th?
Yes, she began experiencing some of the symptoms that you experienced with trichinosis.
However, she wasn't diagnosed until December 28th.
Yes, I believe Dr. Silverman diagnosed her with trichinosis on December 28th.
And that's over 3 weeks.
Yes, that is over 3 weeks.
And during those 3 weeks, she was under the care of Dr. Coulter and his family practice.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Coulter during those 3 weeks, he did everything he could to try and diagnose her.
So that's a yes to my question?
Yes.
Now, we can agree that the only correct diagnosis was trichinosis.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that she could have possibly been diagnosed with that was correct.
But nobody from Dr. Coulter's office made that diagnosis?
No, like I said, it's a very difficult diagnosis to make. I mean, especially when you're not being given all the facts.
Dr. Canary, you yourself believe that Bo has suffered greatly from this parasite.
Absolutely. I mean, it's truly a tragedy what happened to Bo. I mean, she's never going to be the same.
And due to the delay in her diagnosis, she missed her chance at a more positive outcome.
Objection, Your Honor. I believe this is speculation. The opposing counsel is asking members to speculate how this outcome could have changed if Bo Bridger got diagnosed earlier.
Your Honor, this witness is an expert, and therefore I'm simply asking that if this diagnosis was made a little bit earlier, if it could possibly have altered the outcome.
As they said, this could possibly change the outcome. They don't have a certain answer that this could have changed the outcome completely or entirely.
No.
Yes, sir.
So did the timing of this diagnosis result in possibly Bo not getting the best outcome?
Absolutely. I feel like if both parties would have worked together to try and truly figure out what was wrong with Bo, and given all the information, this could have possibly changed the course of Bo's entire life.
Dr. Canary, I'd like to now shift your attention to the medical record system. When Dr. Coulter couldn't figure out what was wrong with Bo Bridger, he never sent her to see a specialist?
No. She was never sent to a specialist. However, I believe Dr. Coulter did have a consultation with a specialist.
But during that consultation, he never received the medical records?
No, we had some trouble. Well, John Coulter had some trouble sending over the medical records to Jedediah Smith.
So Dr. Smith made his recommendation for care without knowing that Bo Bridger was on prednisone?
Like I said, John Coulter had some trouble getting the medical records to Jedediah Smith.
So that's a yes to my question. Dr. Smith made his recommendation for care without knowing that Bo Bridger was on prednisone?
Yes, that is correct. However, he was informed of Bo being on other treatment options, such as acetaminophen.
I'd like to now shift your attention to the symptoms of trichinosis. Are you aware that one of the key symptoms of trichinosis is focused or intense muscle pain?
Yes, focused and intense muscle pain is actually a telltale sign of trichinosis.
And this is from the parasite actively eating the muscle tissue?
Yes, that's correct.
And Bo Bridger began complaining about intense leg pain on December 13th?
Yes, this is correct. However, it was later found out that she had been running when she had been specifically told to rest, which led John Coulter and Danny Boone to believe that pain was from her overexerting herself while she was already sick.
Well, this pain lasted up until December 28th when she was finally taken to the emergency room.
Yes, that is correct.
Now, the second symptom of trichinosis is swelling of the face and the eyes.
Yes, that is another sign.
And in your review of the medical records, Danny Boone, the nurse practitioner, talked about how he noticed some swelling on Bo's cheekbones.
Objection, Your Honor. I believe this is hearsay under the words of Danny Boone.
Your Honor, this witness is an expert and is allowed to rely on hearsay documents.
What's your response to that?
I believe that this does not go towards his opinion in the case.
expert who has reviewed everything in the case, and under Rule 703, he is allowed to rely on outside information or hearsay information in order to make his claims and in order to give.
Will you remind me of the exact statement?
It was, if Danny noted that Danny mentioned that Bo had periorbital edema or swelling on the face of the eyes.
What's your response to 703?
I still don't believe that this is used for his opinion, as he's testifying with Danny Boone, and this would have gone towards Danny Boone's medical diagnosis. This did not affect his.
I'm gonna overrule.
Yes, ma'am.
So you noticed in the medical records that Danny saw this swelling on Bo's cheekbones.
Yes, Danny did notice the swelling on those cheekbones.
However, she did not chart this finding.
I don't believe it was brought up in the medical records. However, it should be also noted that swelling of the face can be from many things. I mean, you can get swelling from other diseases as well as from things like crying. I mean, Bo was in a lot of pain. It's very possible that she was crying very often.
Dr. Canary, redirecting you back to my question, I need a yes or no. Danny Boone never charted this finding.
I believe I said yes.
And Danny never noted that he discussed it with Dr. Coulter.
Yes, that is correct.
I'd like to move on to a third symptom of trichinosis. Trichinosis can be characterized by a high fever of 103 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes, that's another common symptom of trichinosis.
However, Bo had an elevated fever of 101.6 to 103 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes, she did have a higher fever in that 103 range. However, the highest that was ever recorded in the office was in the lower 102s. The 103 was actually reported at Jamie Bridger's house.
Well, you are aware that Bo Bridger was taking prednisone.
Yes, that is correct.
And a common side effect of prednisone is that it can lower fevers.
Yes, prednisone does lower fevers.
So there's a possibility that her fever of 101 to 103 might have been a fever of 103 to 105.
It's very possible. However, again, many diseases have high fevers. I mean, that's not an uncommon symptom.
Well, you just stated that a high fever is very common for trichinosis.
Yeah, that's true. However, so is other things like itchy skin, chills, diarrhea, constipation. I mean, the muscle swelling, or the muscle pain from the run, there was just too many missing pieces.
Well, going back to that question, that Bo's fever might have been higher, but it might have been suppressed by the prednisone.
Yes, it might have.
And it was Dr. Coulter who prescribed her this prednisone.
Yes, she had been taking the prednisone for a while.
In fact, she's been taking prednisone for over 10 years.
Yes, that's correct.
This medication is noted on all of her medical records.
Yes, it is on all of her medical records.
However, Dr. Coulter never noted in anywhere in the medical records that he took this known effect of prednisone into account.
It's a side effect, and it's not like Dr. John Coulter forgot she was on prednisone. He knew she was on prednisone. He just didn't take into account the symptom. And the standard of care isn't perfection. It's the best that you can do.
Redirecting you back to my question, that's a yes, that Dr. Coulter and his office never noted this known effect of prednisone when measuring Bo Bridger's fever.
No, they did not.
So despite these three symptoms, Dr. Coulter was never able to diagnose Bo Bridger.
No, Dr. Coulter never diagnosed Bo Bridger.
Thank you, Dr. Canary. Your Honor, I have no further questions.